Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum brothers and sisters, and welcome to my show Future Stars. I'm your host Alvia Zaidi, and today we will be talking a bit about the month of Muharram. And I'm sure that many of you attended majlises in the past 10 days for the first 10 days of Muharram and also know a lot about Ashura. But today we'll be giving you some background history on the Battle of Karbala and also giving you some ideas on how to behave throughout the rest of this month. So to join me today we have Brother Ali and Sister Sani, and they'll be joining in with questions, answers, and also reading a few stories and poems just to give you some more information about this month that we're in at the moment. So to start off, Brother Ali will be reading a small poem for us.
The server of Islam, the leader of Islam, the hero of Islam, Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. You saved Islam by giving your life. The courage and patience you had in your life, to sacrifice yourself was easy in life. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. You gave your family but never complained. You had no water but never complained. Your family was tortured but never complained. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. Without resting day and night, fought with Yazid to show us the night. From the darkness life, you brought us the light. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein.
Mashallah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing that small poem with us. So that was just a little poem just to explain about Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his role in the Battle of Karbala, and also explaining that Imam Hussein alayhi salam was the saviour of Islam. So now we're going to move on to some information that Sister Sani has for us, and these are just a few things that are recommended for all of us to do during the month of Muharram.
As we go about our daily ritual routines during the blessed month, here are a few things to try to make our remembrance of Imam Hussein a more lasting and rewarding experience. Attend majlises. This is obvious. Almost every community with a big population will have a lecture series for the first 10 days of Muharram. Make sure to take out the time to attend the lectures every night, as well as stick around for the nohas afterwards. Try nohas in another language. Sure, you are used to listening to nohas in Urdu or English, or whatever it is you speak at home, but come on, look around on YouTube or ask the mosque and check out at least one noha in Arabic, Farsi, Urdu, Gujarati, and don't forget English. Recite more often than not. We see the same person reciting poetry during the programs, while the rest of us stand a little distance away and try to avoid eye contact. Accounts of the Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them, tell us of the high status of one who recites poetry for Imam Hussein and his followers. Don't be shy or think your voice isn't great. Just think that this is your way of offering condolences to Lady Fatima Zahra, peace be upon her, for the martyrdom of her son.
Mashallah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing those with us. So those are just a few things that are recommended to do during Muharram, and also just a few things that are beneficial towards us and can gain our Muharram experience to be more rewarding. And to continue on with that, I have a few things also that are recommended. So first of all, hold a question and answer session with the speaker. Many of us have many unanswered questions, whether it's about Muharram or not. So during one of these 10 days or throughout the rest of the month, you could hold a question and answer session with the speaker at the mosque. It can be open both to adults and the youth, where they can come along and ask whatever questions they have on their minds about Islam and life in general. It'll be a great way to attract the youth to come and learn a bit more about Islam. Next, learn about the history. A lot of the speakers only give the last few 5 or 10 minutes to the lecture about the actual tragedy of Karbala. As a result, many of us have muddled facts about the battle, and we don't actually know what happened. We've all heard of people involved, such as Ali Akbar and Hazrat Abbas, but how far do we actually know about them? How deep is our knowledge? Take the time to research through books, the internet, and you can also ask the speaker at the majlises. And lastly, you can self-reflect. As the evening approached the 10th of Muharram, Imam Hussein is reported to have cried out, "Is there anyone who will come to our assistance?" Let us ask ourselves the same question. If we were alive at the time, would we be among those who fought alongside the Imam, or those who fought against him? Hopefully not. Or just those who sat at home and paid no attention to the greatest injustice that happened in the history of mankind. So those were just a few more things that reflect what we could do throughout this month just to make Muharram more understandable and help you understand. And these are things that you could share with your family or your friends so that you all can gain some more knowledge about Muharram. And now we're going to move on to just a few questions, and these questions will just give you a couple of facts to explain a bit more on the basis of what is Muharram. So first of all, I'd like to ask Sister Sani, when is Muharram?
Muharram is the first Islamic month in the Islamic calendar.
Mashallah, thank you very much. And Brother Ali, what is Muharram?
Muharram is the month of mourning.
Mashallah, thank you very much. And Sister Sani, what does Muharram remember?
Muharram remembers the sacrifice Imam Hussein made for Islam.
Mashallah, thank you very much for answering those questions, and those were just a few more facts about Muharram. And earlier we were just talking about what is recommended to do during Muharram, and now Brother Ali will be sharing with us a few things that are recommended not to do during the month of Muharram.
Things that are not very good to do during Muharram. Listen to music or dancing, watching a lot of television, celebrating birthdays hugely, going to parties, laughing during majlises.
Mashallah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing those few things that explain what we should not be doing during the month of Muharram. And also it's just showing us that we shouldn't be doing these things as it wouldn't be very beneficial towards us, and it's helping us understand a bit more about the meaning of Muharram and how it is a month of mourning. So now we're just going to move on to a few sayings that I have here, and they're from Imam Hussein. So first of all, Imam Hussein alayhi salam said on the day of Ashura, "People are the servants of the world and touch the religion by their tongues, till such a time that they know that religion does not carry any harm for them. They would move and spin around it. But when the test comes, then the real religious ones are to be seen, actually very few in number." Number 2, Imam Hussein alayhi salam told his son, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, "Avoid being cruel to anybody who does not have any helper except God." During farewell to his son on the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein is reported to have said, "O my son, do not weep, do not shed tears on my leaving. Your distress and calamity does not come to an end, but there will be the beginning of your discomforts, agonies and griefs. Be strong because God is your supporter. Beware, after I pass away, do not say a word before the enemy so that your worth comes down." 4. Worst of the people is the one who surrenders his doomsday for his material gains. Number 5. Do not perform any good work for the sake of people's praise, and do not abandon it in the fear of shame. Number 6. Those who worship and adore God do not worship others. Number 7. Whatever my brother Imam Hassan alayhi salam did during his life was on the command and order of Allah, and that which I do is also upon the order of Allah. And number 8. Do not say a word which may make you repent and force you to make an excuse. So those were just a few sayings that Imam Hussein alayhi salam shared with his followers, and also we all know the story of Battle of Karbala, and we know about the courage and bravery that Imam Hussein alayhi salam had to fight for Islam. So those few sayings also just emphasize his piety and his bravery and his piety within Islam. So now we're going to move on to a story that Sister Sani has for us, and this is just explaining a bit of what happened before the Battle of Karbala.
On the 1st of Muharram, Imam Hussein's caravan had reached just outside Karbala. They pitched their tents for the night. Hussein and his sister Zainab were standing talking outside Hussein's tent. Together they both sighted the moon of the 1st of Muharram. Tears flowed from Hussein's eyes. Zainab grew worried and asked her brother, "My dearest brother Hussein, why are there tears in your eyes?" "Zainab, my sister Zainab, please pray for me that I keep my promise to Allah. Pray, my sister, that I succeed in completing my mission to save Islam. Zainab, pray for me that I do not hesitate in giving up my life for Islam. Hussein was not crying because he was worried about dying. Hussein did not ask his sister to pray to Allah to save his life. All he was concerned about was saving Islam and us. Bibi Zainab's eyes were filled with tears when she heard what Hussein asked her to do. My beloved sister Zainab, don't cry. You will have to perform a great duty after my death. Be brave and patient. Bibi Zainab went to her tent. Ali Akbar joined his father Hussein. My son, Ali Akbar, I saw a dream last night. I saw a group of people heading for a place where death was waiting for them. I saw them all killed one by one. Father, I know these people. Those people are us. But tell me, Father, are we on the right path? Yes, my son Akbar. Yes, we are on the right path. Then let us not worry, Father. If you are on the right path, then let us die happily. We should continue our journey and greet our death with a smile. I'm proud of you, my son Akbar.
Mashallah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing that small story for us. So that was just a small story explaining about an event that occurred before the Battle of Karbala and when Imam Hussein's caravan reached the field, and also explaining a bit about the piety that Bibi Zainab, Ali Akbar and Imam Hussein all had, and how they were willing to save Islam and sacrifice their lives. So now we're going to move on to a few more questions, and first of all I'd like to ask Sister Sani, what can we do in Muharram?
Well, earlier we read a list of things, but I think the main thing is to listen carefully in majlises, as we can learn very important information about them.
Mashallah, thank you very much. And Brother Ali, why do we wear dark coloured clothing?
Because in this month we are remembering Imam Hussein and his sacrifices, so we do not wear bright colours, as we are showing respect.
Mashallah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for answering those questions. And those were just a few more facts about Muharram, and also explaining a bit more about the Muharram practices that we do. Now, before we continue with a few more stories about Muharram and a bit more explanations, and also a last poem, we'll be going into a break, so join us after the break to learn a bit more about Muharram. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to Future Stars. I'm your host Alvia Zaidi, and today we have been talking about Muharram, and we've been giving you some background information and also explaining a bit more about the practices that we do during this month. Let me just reintroduce my guests, as today we have Brother Ali and Sister Sani, and they've been joining in with a few stories, poems, and also answering questions to give you some facts about Muharram. So just to start off, Sister Sani will be reading for us a poem just to describe the actual Battle of Karbala.
The black garb of night, devoid of colour and pleasure, hides the vibrant colours of truth, pure and untainted, only to be seen with the spirit of the eye, the spirit of the seeker seeking the truth. Truth in its gleaming armour faces the black beast in Yazid's, the blackened hearts of the Kabils, the blinding blackness of ignorance. Thick shades of black that drape the earth, writhing and bleeding as the wind brings images. A severed arm, a pierced throat, a headless body. O my Abbas, O my early Askar, O my Hussein, dripping black blood like black gold that that energizes the rusty dead soul.
Mashallah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing that poem with us. So that was just a short poem just to explain a bit more about the details of the Battle of Karbala. And now I'm just going to move on to some information that I have here, and it's just to explain what majlis actually means. So throughout the show we've been describing about majlises, saying that you should attend them regularly and you should try your best to listen as much as possible. But this will just be explaining exactly what a majlis is. So the word majlis means seatings where people gather and sit. In Majlis of Muharram, we recall the events of the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his family and his companions, and also the hardship and suffering of those in his family who survived the battle. The first Majlis was started by Imam Hussein alayhi salam's brother, by his sister, Bibi Zainab, as soon as they were set free by Yazid. Since then, all the Imams have continued to do majlis for Imam Hussein alayhi salam regularly. Why do we hold these majlis? These majlis are held to thank Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his family and his companions for the great sacrifice of Karbala, for saving Islam and for saving us. We hold these majlis because we love our Imam and feel sad to hear about the hardship and suffering from Karbala, and also to comfort and please Bibi Fatima alayhi salam, Imam Hussein's mother. It is said that Bibi Fatima comes to Majlis Hussein. Though we cannot see her, she prays for us and our family's safety. She collects our tears when we cry for Imam Hussein and his family. On the Day of Judgment, she will return all these tears that we have shed for her family, and these tears will protect us. You have come to the Majlis because you are thankful for what Hussein did to save Islam. You cry and do matam for Hussein because you love him. It is not because of us. We are only means through which Allah keeps Hussein's great sacrifice alive. Imam Hussein alayhi salam died saving Allah's religion, and Allah has promised to keep alive Imam Hussein alayhi salam's name and his great sacrifice. So that was just some quick information just to describe what majlis actually means and what happens during these majlises. So now we're going to finish off with a poem that Sister Sani has for us, and this poem is just to describe a bit more about what happened on the first day of the Battle of Karbala.
I'm son of pure Ali of Hashemite. I'm proud enough of that pride. My grandfather, the apostle, best man on earth among beings, were divine, luminous, touch guide. My mother Fatima is of Ahmed family. My uncle Jafar with two wings glides among us. The book of God is truly descended, where cited good revelation and guidance glorified. Allah trusted us for all people, that is expressed in public and in hide. We have a pond-quenching thirst with Prophet's bowl. This cannot be forgotten and denied. Among people, our followers are the honored ones in Resurrection Day. Our enemies are the losers justified.
Mashallah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing that poem with us. So that poem was actually reported to be what Imam Hussein alayhi salam said on the day that the Battle of Karbala started, and he said it before the enemy troops, before the Battle of Karbala started. So that was a very strong poem, and it just explains a bit more about the deeper meaning of the Battle of Karbala. So that finishes off today's show, and I hope you now understand a bit more about Muharram and also have a few ideas on how you can react to Muharram, and hope you understand a bit more about why we do mourning for Muharram. So before we finish off, we have a caller on the line. So hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am fine. Your program is going still very nice and very pleasant. Can I ask about the braveness of the little child Shahzad Ali Asghar in Karbala? Can you brief some?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, thank you very much for calling in, and thank you very much for asking that question. And so I believe the question was, can you briefly summarize about Ali Asghar, and that was Imam Hussein alayhi salam's son. And I'll just quickly ask my guests, Sister Sani or Brother Ali, do you know about Ali Asgar's story?
Like Imam Ali Asgar wanted, like, obviously he was very thirsty for water, so then Imam Hussein took baby Ali Asgar, and he was holding him so preciously. The enemies thought that he was like holding the Quran, but then because obviously they weren't that harsh that they wouldn't give water to a baby, so but one of the enemies, I'm not sure the name,
The like bag full of water.
oh, that's the bus. Sorry. And then like the enemies were so bad that they with an arrow that they could kill with a camel.
Yep.
With a 3 pierced arrow or something, and then got the best. What's it called?
Yeah, mashallah, thank you very much. And that does briefly summarise the event of Ali Asgar alayhi salam. So that was just to explain a bit more further, is that Ali Asgar was Imam Hussein alayhi salam's son, and he was very thirsty. He was only 6 months old, so he was taken to get water, but on the way he was actually killed with a 3-pronged arrow, which is usually used to kill animals, so it was a very brutal way to kill the 6-month-old baby. So that's the story of Ali Asgar, and I'd like to say thank you very much for calling in, and also thank you very much for watching. I hope you now understand a bit more about Muharram, and I'd like to say thank you to Brother Ali and thank you to Sister Sani for joining in with today's show. I'm your host Alvia Zaidi, and this was Future Stars.